Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Road to Greatness. We are in a ute this time, my Mitsubishi Triton, and we're doing call it a 2-week check-in. It's the last time we spoke was looking at my second upper session, and that has sailed. We are 2.5 weeks into the move at Queensland. And to start it off from the get-go, the initial drive up, starting with that, went quite well. Took us about 11 hours, but every sort of 2.5 hours we stopped, went for a walk because we were traveling with a dog. So made sure that that little bugger got the chance to run around and stretch their legs before we got back in the car and continued. And that was a lot of fun. We stopped pretty much at Taree, Coffs Harbour, Gympie, or not Coffs Harbour, Byron Bay-ish, Ocean Shores, and from there headed up to Brisbane to where we were staying. And as a whole, there are quite a few things that I've noticed since I've moved up here. The first would have to be the people. They are a lot more relaxed than where I was in Western Sydney. And I don't believe that to be a bad thing either. I've come to realize that a lot of what I was dealing with in terms of always having this high level of urgency to perform and constantly being in a rush came from just the people that I was around. And no longer having to experience that has been phenomenal. I'm no longer, I don't have this almost like weight on my chest. It's gone, it's vanished, kaput, finished, done. I can feel like I have room to breathe, like I have room to grow. And that's exactly the second thing that I've noticed here, is that I'm having the opportunity to grow into the next version of myself without feeling like I'm pushing against a barrier. And that has been a really eye-opening experience. And the first way that I noticed that was when I started tracking my sleep a bit more consistently. I'm currently not using my 8 sleep. It's literally behind me here. But getting to it, my sleep is the best it's ever been in a very, very long time. And the only thing that's changed really is, one, a lot. But the only thing that's really changed is where I am geographically. My sleep routine is the same. I'm still taking the same supplements in terms of L-theanine and glycine and ashwagandha and all these other different things to help with my sleep. I am still getting to bed at around 8:30 most nights and waking up at 4:30, 4:45. But my sleep is just so much better. So much better. And a lot of that I lay at the feet of where I'm staying and the environment that I'm in. Where I lived previously when I was in Western Sydney, they built a brand new house. And on the outside of this brand new house, they put all these lights and they were on 24/7. So going to bed, although I had blackout blinds, my room still had this like neon illumination coming through because of these lights outside. And I think also being a little bit closer to nature has allowed my nervous system to relax a little bit. I am kind of spitballing here. However, I don't believe that to be something to just throw to the side, especially when it comes to the people and the environment. I've noticed a very, very big difference in my own personal experience. The first one being with my sleep. The second being with my body weight. I dropped 3 kilos. 2.5 to 3 kilos in that first week of being here. And yeah, sure, you could say that my diet has changed, which it really hasn't. Like, I'm eating a few more pulses and grains, but still eating a lot of rice and veggies and meats and things that I was eating when I was in Sydney. The only difference is where I'm staying. The only difference in what I'm doing, because I'm you'd think I'd be more stressed, my body would be reacting in a very different way, but that has not been the case. what I've really come to notice is that the environment that I've been staying in had my nervous system really, really wound up. And now that I'm out of that environment, it finally has the chance to relax, and it's grown my capacity exponentially to do a lot of things that I've wanted to do. Okay, and this could include things like, well, being able to go out in nature, to meet new people, to explore myself. That comes across a bit weird, but in the sense of understanding what I'm passionate about, where I want to put my attention and intention into. And I've had a lot of fun exploring that. And right now that is into RPC strength, building up a clientele and engaging with people at the gym. That has been a lot of fun, and I'll talk more about that in a separate episode. But getting back to what the first week looked like initially, again, after the drive came up, spent a moment to find our feet. And since then, we have gotten into a routine, working in the morning before I train, and then finishing off the afternoon with coaching or whatever it is that the day has asked of me. And now I initially committed to having a whole day off working, and I'm going to retract that initial commitment, because what I found was I want to work on something, be it the business or myself. I want to work on something because it's what I'm really, really passionate about right now, and I fucking love it. I fucking love it. I cannot tell you how excited I am to get this off the ground and build the life that my partner and I have talked about for quite some time. And I do believe that we're in the best location right now to do that. Okay, staying at a place that is surrounded by love, working at a gym which has this phenomenal community, and both of us having the chance to step into the best versions of ourselves so far really, really excites me. And I am looking forward to taking you on this journey. The biggest thing that I'm trying to do right now is make sure that I document as much as I can. That's what I'm trying to do the most of, is document every component and everything that I'm doing, because there is going to come a time 10, 15, 20, 30 years down the line where people are going to ask me questions about what I experienced when I was going through the initial startup phase of this, and I want to be able to tell them, but I'm going to fucking forget. And so the purpose of having these small series is so that I can bring you guys along for the ride. I want to be able to document everything that happens and talk about my own personal, not problems, but what I'm dealing with at this time. And so it's currently mid-July, and something that I am dealing with is an old wound of mine from my childhood. To keep it very much on the surface, there is a part of me that I have neglected for a long time, and it's a wounded part of me that is now getting in the way of my growth and getting in the way of some other areas of my life that do include my relationship. And I've spoken about it a lot in private, not on YouTube, but at least here it's something to know that I've gone through several rounds of therapy in the past. My first one was when I was 11. I went again when I was 18, again when I was 22, and now I'm 26. So it's almost like these every 4-year cycles that I seem to go through a 6 or 8 month stint of therapy. And every time I do, there is this quantum leap in my growth as a person, as a professional, as a partner, as a son, as a friend, as a mentor, as a coach. All these things start to really align for me when I'm able to heal these parts of myself and step into discovering more about me. Because again, this is a path of self-expansion. Okay, self-expansion, it sounds a lot like personal development or professional development, but it's exactly that. It's leaning into being curious and understanding more about myself, okay, and learning about these hidden parts that I have been neglecting. The best analogy that I can use is that I'm currently walking into a house that I think I know. And what I'm doing by seeking a therapist or a counselor is allowing that person to step into my house and show me doors that I didn't know were there. And help me walk down these hallways and discover what is in these rooms that I haven't seen before, or at least that I've kept locked up for a very, very, very long time. And I'll do my best to share as much as I'm comfortable with over these YouTube series. Of course, I'm not going to sit here and make this a boohoo me, man in red flannelette shirt, look at him so sad. It's more to share with you guys that I am nowhere near perfect, and I never said that I was, but also to, I guess, reassure or reinforce people that everyone goes through shit. It's sure as hell ain't sunshine and rainbows. We're not going to sit here and act like everything's hunky-dory. No, it's been fucking tough. And I've had to sit with that part of myself and understand that in order for me to step into the next version of myself, I can't continue to put this off. I can't continue to push this to the wayside and try to grip my teeth, right? And drag this anchor along and expect myself to become this better version of myself, carrying so much weight. Okay, like being strong is awesome, but the double edge of being strong is that carrying a heavy weight doesn't make it any lighter. And while you get better at carrying it, it'll be a lot easier if I just didn't have to carry it at all. And that's what I want to lean into now in this next path of expansion. Seeing what weight I'm carrying that I can let go, that I can release. I had a similar release last October with a mentor, and that led me on this quantum journey that took me up to Queensland, where we are right now. And so imagine what's going to happen when I'm able to step into the next self-discovery me, that next breakthrough. What will that lead to? And walking down that path, how many more people can I support and help do the same thing? Of course, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I ain't qualified in that. But I can relate to people. And I can step into their shoes and say, hey, I've been here before. Let me help you walk your way out of this too. Because at the end of the day, the goal of RPC Strength is to help as many people and support as many people step into becoming the best versions of themselves. And sometimes that means having a hard conversation. But in order for me to have a hard conversation with others, I first need to be able to have that hard conversation with myself. It always starts with me. Okay? Case in point, when I wanted to have a great relationship, it started by me acting and behaving like a great partner. When I wanted to have a good, I guess, friendship with my parents, it started by me first being a great son and understanding what that role looks like, so that when I find that person, so that when we choose to start building that relationship, I am already being the person that I want to be, so that I can become them and have those things. Okay, kind of like the be, do, have model, which is a very separate conversation, but I'm choosing to behave in the way that I want to be like. And by doing so over time, I eventually become them. And that's exactly the game plan moving forward. I'm going to choose to be the best version of myself and step into becoming the next version of me by going through a very intense period of self-expansion. And that starts by having some really hard conversations with someone who is qualified to do so. And I'm looking forward to taking everyone here on the ride and keeping you informed as comfortable as I can. But more importantly, just know that you don't have to be 100% all the time. You're allowed to feel like shit. You're allowed to not be okay, because that gives us the opportunity to grow through whatever we're going through. And at the time, that sounds like a a bit of a stab. However, I like to believe that the reason that we suffer is so that we can be better. And this is part of the experience of being alive. And so why not be able to experience all of it, the good and the bad? But thank you for tuning into this episode of Road to Greatness. If you liked it, please subscribe, leave a comment, be sure to engage, and we'll be back every single Friday. But until then, team, take care. I'll catch you next week.